Hi! I failed to record the coaching session or the mentoring session that I had with this Gen Z. And what is exciting about this Gen Z is that when he was studying or he is studying, meron siyang business. So he is into photography. So before I go on any further, hello everyone, I'm Coach Tets D.C. and I'm here to share with you snippets or bits and tips of how are you going to start or run your business. And this particular session, I like to give you the preview of what we have talked about with this millennial this Gen Z that I was talking about. Let's call this Gen Z Mr. Photographer because he's into photography. So Mr. Photographer has consulted and told me na ang dilemma niya is when it comes to money management. You see, earning money was not a problem, and I believe that most of the Gen Zs that who are watching this video, or millennials for that matter, or anyone who has no problem whatsoever in earning their money, ang problema is that how are you going to handle it? Kasi sabi nga ni Mr. Photographer, ang nangyayari sa kanyang pera is that minsan nai-exceed pa sa expectations niya yung income niya for the month. But then, nauubos lang din agad because he keeps on buying and upgrading his camera, which is not bad. It's just that, ang tanong is, why is it happening? Wala siyang savings? Why is it that no matter how big the savings are, it's still, wala pa rin. I mean, lumaki yung income, limit ang income, still the same. It's nada. It's zero. So that was a question. And what I did was, I introduced a simple formula. Because what we were taught early on is that what we do with our finances is this. Our income less expenses, that's savings. Kaya walang natitira because sometimes we have this income and then mas marami pa yung savings. Sometimes it's still negative. Or minsan super liit. That this is small saving, we neglect it and say, wala na siya, importansya. And so what we do is we spend it. But what I taught this Mr. Photographer is, we reverse the formula and we give label to the formula. What do I mean by this? What we did was, I said, you reverse it like income less savings equals expenses. And then I asked him, for the simplicity of the computation, let's say the income is 10,000. How much is it that he can save out of the 10,000? You see, hindi naman siya nagbabayad ng bahay because he's still a student. And then wala naman siya problema sa mga binibili niya araw-araw because he's still being supported because he's a student. So I asked, mga magkano kaya yung nasa-save mo with halimbawa, you have 10,000 income, and he said, like 50% of it. So you have an income of 10,000, then a savings of 5,000, then your expenses should be 5,000. So what we did was, nilagyan namin ng allocation yung 5,000 savings niya. I said, the savings ideally is to be subdivided into further categories or subcategories. What are these? Number one, it should be your emergency, or I personally call it the readiness fund. It is where you put your money, you put aside the money that is intended for an emergency purposes. So what do you mean by emergencies? Emergencies are like when there are calamities or biglang like this pandemic, you get money out of it. So I asked him, mga magkano kaya ang you can allot for the emergency fund? Because ideally, emergency funds or the readiness fund should be before it was 6 months to a year of your monthly income. But what this pandemic taught us, we should be even ready. So if we can afford a 2-year monthly income for the emergency savings, that's even better. So I asked, magkano kaya na isi-save mo for the emergency fund? And he said, 1,000. So we have 4,000 left for the savings. And I said, you allot a portion of your savings to your risk management or to your insurance. Because it's very important that as early as now you are insured. Why? Number one, you're young and it's cheap. Number two, you can finish paying it off early on. Even sabi ko nga, kahit hindi pa siya kasal, pwedeng tapusin na niya yung pagbabayad dun sa insurance. O diba, sabi ko pa, napakaswerte ng magpapangasawa niya kasi binata pa lang siya, insured na siya. And you can use a portion of that savings for investment. Why? Well, there are insurance with investment features. So, whichever is suitable for the need of the client or Mr. Photographer, he can choose insurance lang, or he can choose investment lang, or he can choose both. Whatever is comfortable for him. So, let's recap. For the savings, we have the emergency or the readiness fund. Then we have for the risk management or your insurance. And we have for the investment. So, I also added that in the savings, doon dapat manggagaling yung i-reinvest mo for your business. So, doon dapat manggagaling yung mga bibili niya ng gears or ipang-upgrade niya ng mga lenses. So, it's up to him how much he's going to allot for that. The most important thing is that yung 5,000 na savings that he has put or set aside, meron na siyang label na pupuntahan. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya nababaliwala. Alright? So, let's talk about the expenses. What we did in the expenses is we also put the labels. I said, ano ba yung mga expenses mo for the month or daily? Yan. So, dyan yung mga, sabi ko, kailangan masarap yung may travel goals ka din kasi he has a girlfriend. So sabi ko, di ba, gumagastos kayo during your dates or you set aside from your expenses. Pag hindi mo siya nagastos for this month or i-carry over mo siya the following month. So hindi ka nauubusan ng pang-libre. You also have a money for pang-libre because sabi niya, there are times na nililibre niya yung staff, nakasama niya sa pag-gig dun sa photography sessions. And I said, ayan, mag-allot ka din something for that. So, ano pa yung expenses niya? Ang expenses niya I said, kung gusto mo, if you think that the savings for the upgrade of the gears ay hindi enough doon sa allotment natin sa savings portion, then you allot another doon sa expenses. So, para mas marami kang pang-upgrade ng iyong gears. And then I also said, in the expenses, nandito na yung mga pang-forma niya, pambili niya ng mga toiletries, food, and other stuff. And the most important thing pala that I added in the conversation, which this Mr. Photographer appreciated so much, is the tithe thing. What is tithe? Tithe is 10% of your income. It's a money that we put in an institution that gives us a spiritual nourishment. In my case, I'm a Catholic, so I give my 10% to the church. Sa case ni Mr. Photographer is also a Catholic, so I encourage him to give into tithing. Why did I do that? Because I've experienced the tremendous blessing brought by tithings. Kasi the Lord is challenging you to give, and it is so amazing how much He gives back. And I hope you do the same. I even challenged Mr. Photographer to do the same. I told him, sabi ko, mag-tithe ka. And I want you to come back to me and say, how did the Lord bless you when you started your tithings? And yun nga, na-appreciate niya kasi sabi niya, this is something that He has been for me. So, that's it for today. Again, let's recap. When you have your income, you reverse the formula. That's income less savings less, then the result is expenses. Then you put labels on where are you going to put your savings. A rule of thumb is that you will save for your emergencies or your readiness fund, and then you save something for your insurance. For the investment for long-term growth, we are into long-term, so we can manage risks. And you allot something for the business that you want to invest in. Kung may business ka na, pang-add mo siya ng iyong mga bagay or pang-upgrade mo siya ng mga tools mo or whatever that you use for the business. And for the expenses, this is the part or the portion wherein ilalagyan mo din ng label kung para saan yung expenses na yun. Ibig sabihin, you have a ceiling. Sa case ng Sir Photographer, ang ceiling niya for the expenses, given na 10,000 halimbawa yung income niya, 5,000 yung savings, 5,000 yung expenses, dapat hindi lalampas sa 5,000 yung savings. So, nandun na din yung mga pang-online shopping, pang-Lazada, pang-Shopee, and all that. So, I hope you learned something today. And of course, the tithes. Ayan. I encourage you to tithe. So, I hope you learned something today. I hope you can be challenged to review how you handle your finances. Ano bang labels that you put in your savings? What labels do you put on your uh, expenses, or nag-i-exceed ba? Or may nasisave ba? May natitira ba? So whatever it may be, I hope and I pray that abundance may come your way anytime soon. So God bless you. Bye.